Tonight, Governor Gavin Newsom delivers his State of the State address, speaking about rising gas prices, homelessness, education, and the current situation in Ukraine. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Eric Rucker in for Nikki Lorenzo.
And I'm Eric Harriman. Fox 40 Capitol reporter Ashley Zavala joining us live with reaction to that address tonight. Ashley.
Eric, Governor Gavin Newsom delivered his fourth State of the State speech of his term here at the California Natural Resources Agency and not at the state capitol. This is a fitting venue because two of the governor's main focal points in this speech were, as you mentioned, the rising prices, the skyrocketing prices of gas, as well as the need to transition to clean energy. The governor headlining tonight in his announcement that he will be proposing a gas tax rebate to address the rising prices of oil and gas in California and nationwide. Now, the details on that are slim. Administration officials said those details are still being worked out, but they say eligibility would begin with California residents who own a car. They also say undocumented immigrants would also be eligible for this rebate. But again, who exactly qualifies, how much this rebate would entail, those are details that are still being worked out. The governor will try to get this passed through the upcoming state budget negotiations, which are usually finalized in June, but the administration says it's working to get this passed possibly sooner, but again, details are still murky. Meanwhile, with all the conflict in Russia and Russia being one of the world's biggest oil producers, Governor Gavin Newsom signaled tonight his administration will not, what he says, repeat mistakes from the past by drilling more oil in California.
But I want to make this clear. At a time when we've been heating and burning up, one thing we cannot do is repeat the mistakes of the past by embracing polluters, drilling even more oil, which only leads to even more extreme weather, more extreme drought, and more wildfire.
Leaders in the Republican leaders in the legislature, in the Assembly and Senate, both gave a response tonight, and they said that they are waiting to hear the details, more details on that gas tax rebate.
I think there's some things that we can agree with the governor on. I do think we should be giving the taxpayers back some of their money. If we have nearly a $60 billion surplus in the state, it means that people are overtaxed.
Other issues the governor highlighted tonight included his care court proposal to get some of the most severely mentally ill off the streets and into treatment. He also said, as it relates to COVID, that California cannot let its guard down.
Ashley, you're at the Natural Resources Agency, obviously, because that's where the governor spoke tonight. Years past, the speech has always been given from the state capitol. Any reactions, any questions to why that decision was made tonight?
Yeah, and why that decision was made is not clear, but in the Republican rebuttal to his speech, they said that this venue was fitting because the governor has refused, in their words, has refused to work with the legislature on several key issues with state lawmakers this year.
All right, Fox 40's Ashley Zavala reporting live for us from the Natural Resources Agency, where again the governor gave his State of the State address tonight. Ashley, thank you.